Happy New Year. Y'all come on in and welcome to the broadcast on today. I'm excited to do this live with you guys. And we're going to spend about 30 minutes together. And if you are new to my page and to my little ecosystem I have going over here, I want to welcome you so much. Thank you for being a part of my network. My name is Tracy Walker. I am a home-based business leader and mentor. I am a marketer and I am I'm a marketing automations expert, and I'm also an investor. And primarily what I do is I help entrepreneurs, online business entrepreneurs, network marketers, just the same, to be able to really create that true time and that true freedom that they desire by introducing automation into their marketing model. Okay. The days of doing all this stuff manually, them days over with. Now, some of y'all love it because y'all love it. Okay. Some of y'all like to feel busy. But I am a single mom and I have to have things working for me when I'm not in front of the computer. And so if you are that type of person, you're in this industry some way or another, you want time freedom, you want money freedom, you like your business, but you want to have more success in your business, you feel like something's not right, stick around. Stick around because we're going to talk about some things tonight I think you might find some value in. Okay. In fact, I think I'm going to be able to paint a picture for you that reveals you that you can actually do this. All right. So if you are in the business, you're in the industry and you're feeling stuck, okay, you're feeling like, hey, I've burned through warm market, or I've talked to all the people I can talk to, I've gone to all the Walmarts I can go to, I've put all the post-it notes on the gas station pumps I can put them on. Okay, even from an online standpoint, you feel like you have literally inboxed every freaking person that you ever come into contact with, right? And you're trying to you're trying to prospect people into your business, and you're feeling a little icky, or you're feeling like it's not really giving you the results that you want. I've got a reason why that doesn't seem to work for you. And the reason is because your strategy and your approach is off. The strategy and the approach is off. Okay. And we're going to dive more into that. But in the meantime, in between time, if you guys could go ahead and even share this broadcast, I truly appreciate it. And I'd love for you to interact with me as well. So if you are here and you want to throw a question up in the time that we have, and you want to engage via the comments, I'm going to invite you to be able to do that. I am watching the comments as well. And so I look forward to not just bringing you the value here on this broadcast, but also being able to interact and make sure that you extract from it all that you can. All right. So let's get started. When I think about things that have changed in the world, the car that was made in 1945, if you were to look at the picture of a car that is a 1945 car, you would readily be able to see that it is radically different than the way that a car looks in 2023. Okay, cars have changed. Now, what cars do have not changed, right? They still get us from point A to point B. And as of right now, they still have four wheels and all this stuff, right? But the model and the way that it was built, the processes to build the cars, they have all enhanced. The design has all enhanced. The engineering has all enhanced. So a car is still a vehicle to get you from point A to point B, but the way it looks and the process behind its design has completely changed. And you're okay with that, right? You're not fighting for cars to look just like it did in 1945 because that was your favorite car, right? That's when you got all the girls, or that's when you got all the guys, is when you had that car. And so now you absolutely refuse to get a 2000 car, okay? A 19 something car, a 90 something car, right? Because you want to live in your past of what you felt brought you all of the benefits of having that. Let me give you something else. Hairstyles. Now, hairstyles can be a little finicky, right? Because it's cycles, right? Everything is really cycles. But technically speaking, the average everyday hairstyle, not that someone is dressing up or not that someone is being creative, the average everyday hairstyle in the 20s is not what hairstyles look like, average everyday people going to work, in 2023. Hairstyles have changed. Now, here's the thing: hairstylists have had to update their skill sets. They've had to learn new styles. They've had to learn how to mix new chemicals. They've had to learn how to use different products. They've had to evolve as a hairstylist. You can't just be a hairstylist and you were doing hair in 1970 and you just still think you're going to do that French roll in the 90s, okay, and it's 2023. You just not going to learn nothing else. You're going to still just do crimps. That's what you're going to do because that's what you know how to do. That's what made you the most money in 1993 was your crimps. So now we're going to still just run with the crimps in 2023. It has changed. Now, are hairstylists still required and necessary? And do we love and appreciate them? Absolutely. But they've had to grow. The strategy by which they style the hair has changed. Let me give you another one. This is really more related to entrepreneurs. Before the Great Depression, before the stock market crash during the Great Depression period of time, do you know that most people were entrepreneurs? Most people were entrepreneurs. They had businesses, they were running their things, and they were doing what they were doing. And what they started to do was through advice of you know who, right? They started to invest in stocks and start to, help build up companies and have shares of stock and this. So they were putting a lot of their profits and a lot of their savings and things so that they could grow money in the future, but putting it a lot into the stock market. Well, then the stock market crashes. And when the stock market crashed, people lost a lot of their savings. They lost a lot of their investments. And so therefore, in their mind, this is Great Depression time, they said that having your own business is risky, right? They formed a mindset and said, it's better to just have a stable job. It's better to have a stable job. You should just go get a job. You should go to school. You should get a job. It should be stable. And that's going to provide more security for you because it's not as risky because those people had just lost everything that they had in the stock market crash during that Great Depression time. So what happened was that industrial age type of time frame, people felt like working was the safer, riskless or less risky way to go. Okay. Well, here's the crazy thing about it. That was the industrial age. When is the last time you worked in a factory? Now, yes, are there still factory jobs? And when is the last time you worked in a factory, right? You're not going to school right now, or your children aren't going to school and you're pushing them to learn factory type of skills, are you? No. So the industrial age is over. It's done. But guess what? Your grandparents and your parents are still operating, or they were teaching you how to operate from that old ideology that was beneficial to them back during that period of time. Do you realize that not only are we not in the industrial age, we are not even in the information age anymore. We have gone through the information age. We are in the digital age. We're in the digital age. See, back then, you couldn't get a book on the internet. You couldn't go on the Google and type something in or go into DuckDuckGo or go into whatever your favorite browser is and find information at the, couple of types of a button. You literally had to go to where books were so they could keep information in books. And if you didn't have access to the books, then you just didn't have the information. But now the speed at which information flows and the ability for it to be digitized, which is kind of a scary thing because they can wipe out stuff just as quickly as they can put it up there as well. Okay. So be mindful of that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that literally the purpose for you going to school, going to school, getting a good job and being stable is because you were coming out of a mindset where people had lost everything. Okay. You don't live in that era anymore. So guess what? You've got to change. You now live in the digital age, right? And now people are coming back around to what? Entrepreneurship, because they realize that the whole job thing just isn't as secure as it was once said to be. And so the problem is that if you're in home-based business and network marketing, you still have it ingrained in your psyche from teachings that you should be doing things that people were doing when network marketing first started. Network marketing first started, I think, like right after World War II or something like that, right? Kind of during and after World War II, right? Why did it start? It started because all of the soldiers were off to war. The soldier wives, right, were home and they had the children, and they were finding ways to start making money. They were finding ways to, do different things and keep busy while the men are away in the military. And they began in network marketing comes into play, and it made sense for me because back then it was, let's say it was literally a spray of some sort, some type of cleaning product, right? And I could spray it on the counter and it could wipe up the mess instantly off the counter. It was a demonstration. So if I were in that time, I could go to my neighbor's house and say, girl, let me show you this new cleaning product, right? Come on over tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And the young lady next door was like, okay, girl, I'll be right over, right? She doesn't really have to worry about too much. So she goes over to my house and I do this demonstration with her or for her about my spray that cleans up stuff, because very, very domesticated at that time, right? Cleaning everything and making sure the house is clean and spick and span and keeping things in line. Okay, rightfully so. So they were showing demonstrations, and other women come along and say, oh my goodness, this works so well. And then they go to each other's houses and they start doing these demonstrations. They're doing these home parties and home meetings, because generally it was the proof of the product was in the demonstration of the product. Okay, that's post-World War, post-World War II. Remind you, we live in a digital age. Most of the products and services that you have are not instantly gratified through your demonstration. When you go to somebody's house and you have a weight loss product, that person is not going to take that pill or drink that tea and lose weight before the meeting is over. They're not going to lose 10 pounds in the 45 minutes, hour and a half that you are there. Okay, if they did, we'd be highly questionable. It would be highly questionable what that is. Okay, so the demonstration made sense when the product was designed to give an instantaneous type of transformation that you could see, So now we live in a digital age where you are selling legal services. You are selling financial education. You are selling ways to invest in real estate. You are selling ways to clear your skin. You got collagen. You've got clothing items. You've got all these different products and services that are now part of the robust industry. And you still want to go to somebody's house when there's no instant gratification. I don't need to be at your house to talk to you about the weight loss. It's going to still take you 5 to 10 days to even lose. I can share this with you. Okay. Okay, maybe if I went, I could give you a sample. I guess that would be a reasonable thing. I give you a sample. But in digital stuff, I don't need to go to your house. I'm not going to give you a sample of my app. I can't give you a sample of my real estate education, right? I can't give you a sample of my trading education and technology. So what is the real point in me doing that? The real point is because that's what has always been done. Okay. And you feel that that is the way that you're going to connect with the two people that are there. Right now, again, not such a bad problem if you're on a 3 to 5 year plan. See, back then, right, as we move into like the 70s and things like this, back then, to offer someone a way to create an additional stream of income, supplement their income, and it take 3 to 5 years was a reasonable thing to do, because there weren't really other opportunities. Okay, right now you can go out there and drive Uber today and make $100. Okay, you don't have to wait 3 to 5 years to make an extra $100, right? You just don't. If they had Uber back then they would have made changes back then. Okay, but they didn't. But we got it now. And so instead of people having to get started with home-based business, people could go do Instacart. People could go do Amazon dropshipping. People could go do this and that, a plethora, YouTube automation. People could do a plethora of different things and not have to wait 3 to 5 years in order to build up a residual income. So what does that mean? That means if you are still doing it slow, which is the 3 to 5 year plan. And everything in our society has sped up to the tune of you got faster internet right now. They got faster cars right now. Your kids can learn faster. They can take tests on the internet. They can go online and practice different things. They can do virtual reality, all type of stuff. You got the metaverse. All this stuff is going on. And instead of you evolving with it, like the 1945 car moving to the 2023 car, you still want to employ the assembly process of 1945, i.e., the marketing process of network marketing in, 1973. Now, am I knocking all the people that have made millions and millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars in network marketing? No, but those people generally who do it the old school way started it back then. The 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Okay, now a lot of us have also made millions of dollars in network marketing, but I didn't make my millions of dollars in network marketing by flying all around town, putting money in hotels, spending the night, being at people's house, okay, for 3 people to show up, for 5 people to show up, and there's no expense account. There's no expense account. I don't see how that's a duplicatable process. If you're the leader and that's what you're going to do, go ahead, right? But if you're the new person getting started and you're looking at the leader, you're automatically saying, I can't do that. If you're a single mom like me, I'm always, even once I had my son, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Right? Especially now that he's in school and baseball practice, right? His coach made it very clear today, we're getting ready for tournaments in the spring. He can't miss no practices on Sundays. He can't miss none. So all that going out of town and all that type of stuff, I'm not going to be able to do that. So if the business depends on me having to fly to this city and stay in this hotel over the weekend and eat out every night and spend $1,000 on air tickets between me and my son to go and have 5 people in the room who don't get a demonstration that's going to change their life right now. They still got to order the thing, get access to the thing. They got to use the thing. I could have did that on Zoom. So you're stuck. Okay. You're stuck. And you're stuck because, listen to me, you're stuck because the processes by which we navigate just general business in this day and age has evolved, but the majority of people that have made money in the industry don't know what else to do. Some of them are actually against the thing because some of them feel like it's a distraction. How can helping your team speed up results be a distraction? You should be ready to embrace anything that can legitimately help the members in your organization speed up results and help them win. See, I don't want to be on 3-way calls all day long. Like I don't want to have a team full of people where because they're so new and they don't know anything yet and nobody's taught them posture, nobody's worked with them on a phone script, nobody's worked with them on how to communicate with their own leads, all this. I got 10, 20, 30 people calling me all day with 3-way calls. How's that time freedom for me? So the bigger my business gets, the more tied to the phone I am. That's the opposite direction of what I want. I want, as my business grows, leaders to develop and my time get more and more free. Not I'm the leader, put me on the phone with everybody you know. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it now. And I think you're not going to want to do it once the organization gets to, a $20 million organization. I'm just not going to, I don't want to do it now. I'm not going to want to do it then. So the ideal situation is that in order to move things faster, we want to get people out of 3 to 5 years because people don't have 3 to 5 years. And we want to shift into 12 to 18 months. How are we going to shift into 12 to 18 months when if you're calling those people who are in your phone who don't care nothing about a business and you hoping and praying they're going to change their mind every 30 days and you harassing the shit out of these people? How is that going to help you to grow your business effectively? What kind of confidence are you going to have doing that? Are you going to feel good not knowing how to actually attract real customers to your business? And then even if you were to get someone to join your team, now you feel a little icky because that's what you're going to have them do. Now they got to go through their contact list of people. What if they reject that or rebel against that and say, hey, listen, I want to do this business, but can you show me a different way to do it? And as a leader, you don't think you should have a different way to do it? Your process is like, no, well, if you want to build a 2023 car, you can do it. But some of those machines are distractions. Those machines take time to learn, those machines. Okay. And the people who operate the 2023 machines are like, no, all we do is push a button, really. Like, really, I am manning the machine, but today's day and age, I pushed a button and I just make sure nothing gets clogged up. I guess if you're thinking that I have to do more than push a button, then I guess you would say that. If you're trying to deter somebody from doing it faster and easier, because what if it actually works faster and easier? There are some leaders that say they want you to pass them up, but they really don't. And they just want you to keep on paying that auto ship so that you can keep the residual going. Some leaders are like that. I'm just going to keep it all the way 100. Some leaders are like that. They don't want you to really pass them up. They just want you to keep, chugging along, all right, making a couple $100 and paying your auto ship because it keeps their check high. So they're going to say things like it's a distraction or, that's not duplicatable. So you think that the person that actually has to put things on the assembly line all day long, you think that that's more duplicatable than the person who can just push the button and tell the person that gets hired next, here, all you got to do, stand here, push that button. That's way more duplicatable. Pushing the button is way more duplicatable than everybody having to learn how to do this to a certain beat, to a certain drum. Okay, this is where I'm going with this. All right, so today, people actually hate doing a lot of the processes that did prove themselves to be successful during a period in time where those were the modern processes. But now we live where modern processes have evolved. You're stuck because you haven't. Your team is stuck because you haven't. Your organization is stuck because you haven't. So here's the bottom line. You are going to have to elevate your skills. If you want to make money in online business, home-based business, network marketing, 2023 and beyond, you are going to have to elevate your skills. The car mechanic that was working on the cars, they had to evolve and they had to learn new things as technology advanced. They can't just fight for the same way they made cars. The hairstylist has to go to continuing education because things change. Realtors have to go and get recertified or do whatever they have to do because the laws in the real estate world, they change. Everybody has to go and elevate their skills and change. But y'all in network marketing, nope. We gonna do these meetings, okay? Don't nobody want to come to no meeting. I'm sorry, y'all. Now, some people will. Your networkers, your true networkers don't come to the meeting because that's what they know how to do. But when you're attracting people who are not necessarily lifelong network marketers, they're saying, well, we can't, there's no way that we can do this where I can kind of have a little bit more control of my time as a single mom. When I recruit single moms, I can't be like, okay, yeah, we're going to be on this. We're going to be on here for 16 hours a day. I can't be like, oh, yeah, you got to be on the phone for 8 hours a day. I can't be like, oh yeah, you're gonna DM 1,000 people, all day long. As this is our primary strategy. I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. You gotta bring something else to the table. So you will not get the futuristic results that you want with the old, outdated approaches. Now, because of that, your strategy must change. Your strategy must change. I want you to even think like this. We've got a lot of different companies in our industry where countries outside of the United States, the people that live in those countries are doing super duper well. A lot of them are doing super duper well. But you know that the US is the number one market for network marketing. Why? Because generally, most network marketing companies start in the US. Most of them have started in the US. And then they branch out. So what does that mean about the consumer in the US? The consumer in the US is usually the first to get hit with the new opportunity. They're the first to get hit with the, hey, I want you to jump on this Zoom. I want you to come to this meeting. They're first to get hit with, oh, there's this brand new opportunity. This brand new product. It's something you have never seen before. This comp plan is life-changing. Oh my God, this is the real deal. Like, we're the first ones to get hit, which means after 30, 40, 50 years of network marketing, you can't run game on the people that's been doing this. It's kind of like this. If you're a man and you're in the dating field and you're out and you're meeting different women and whatever, so on and so forth, and your approach is one of them old school slimy type of approaches. If you're speaking to a young lady who has never had a man approach her, she might find that to be quite remarkable. She might find that old tied line to be attractive because she's never been introduced to it. She ain't never heard it. She's green. She's naive to it. But you go out there and you get you a woman that's been dating for some years. You get you a woman that has been married before. You get you a woman that's had some children, and you try that same tied ass line on her. She gonna look at you like you crazy, like, sir, that's the best you have. Is that the best you got, sir? You got to come up with a different approach. Now, the man who doesn't want to come up with a different approach, well, that's fine. You're going to get way more rejection. And if you're okay with getting way more rejection, that's fine. But now you want to teach other people that old strategy and tell them that they got to get used to having this rejection. Whereas the men who understand that times have changed, you got to adjust your approach. They too might have rejection, but not that ongoing obsessive rejection, right? You might have a couple of ladies that just aren't interested or not your type or whatever it is, and they're not yours and you're not theirs. So everybody can experience rejection. But why experience rejection deliberately because you know what you're doing is old and don't work, but because you don't know how to do nothing else, you're going to try to convince everybody else this is the way that we're going to do it. And the people that don't know any better, they go along with it because they see the top earner making all the money, and the top earner been in the company 20 years, and they were doing that 20 years ago. And so they don't know any other way to teach you than the way they taught it. So what's the solution? If the goal is to get results, then you got to duplicate the results. So how do you duplicate results? Think about it like a science project. In a science project, you have a control and you have a variable. You have a control, a control is something that doesn't change. And the variable will be the different things that you change, and you match it against the results of the control. You have a control and a variable. You have to have something stagnant, and it had to have something that changes. So you can see if whatever the end result of the experiment is, if it matches your hypothesis or not. Well, in home-based business and network marketing, almost everything is a variable. The only thing that is actually a control would be the company, the comp plan, and the things that the company has control over, right? In the field, it's almost like everything is a variable. Like what? You and your sponsor, y'all are different. That's a variable. Your sponsor may be a woman, your sponsor may be a man, doesn't matter, you're still different. Your sponsor may speak a certain way and have a certain level of charisma, and you might not have that posture just yet. You might not have that confidence just yet. That is a variable. Your sponsor may not have a problem going out to Pappadeaux's and prospecting the waitress. You, on the other hand, you're not that comfortable with the script yet. It's not in your head yet. That's a variable. The fact that they're prospecting a waitress at Pappadeaux's is going to be different than the fact that you're prospecting the waitress at Ruth Chris. There are two different types of waitresses. The waitresses are different people. It's all variables. You can say that the process is the same. Like what you want to do is you want to get a list. So you say that the getting of the list is the control, but it's really not. It's really a variable because the people that go on that list vary from person to person. If you write a list of 100 people and you have business-oriented, business-minded, successful people on your list, and 10 of those people enroll, you're going to you're going to, what is the word called? Reinforce that writing the list makes sense because it works. But then the moment you get somebody, which is majority of people, they put their 100 people on their list, they're not going to get 10 people right off the bat. So then you encourage them to just keep going and meet more people, go meet more people, when the issue is the list. The list is a variable. You don't have the same quality of people on a list. There's going to be different people, yes. But if anything, you're not pulling from the same pool of people, even for the list. Even if we had different people, but we all pulled from the same pool of people, that would be a constant. That would be a control. If I could go fishing with you and we were both fishing in a bass pond and both of us only had access to bass, the likelihood that if I reeled the fish in, it would be a bass would be 100%. Just like if you reel the fish in, it'd be 100%. But if I'm shopping and I'm fishing in a bass pond and you fishing in a crawfish pond, then you turn around and you get a bunch of little roaches from the bottom of the ocean, and I turn around and get a bunch of bass, and then we're trying to figure out, well, how come your people not staying signed up and they quitting? Because it's a different pool of people. So the list looks like a control, but it's a variable. What if you can create a scenario where the list, the pool of people that you and your team are pulling from is the same? Well, see, now then, if you tell someone, hey, go write a list, and they could all write a list from the same list that you're writing a list from, and then you can demonstrate that for every 100 people, 10 people sign up, then the numbers should carry over. They should duplicate. If you run an advertising campaign in a certain pond and you're able to get a certain result, then you can have your team members run an advertising campaign in that same pond, and they should expect a similar result. Why? Because they're fishing from the same pond. Something needs to be a control in order to have the success, because the variables would be the independent business owners. We're all coming to the table different and beautiful and amazing with the maybe a lot of skill in this business, maybe not so much skill in this business, maybe things that you really have to learn. Another thing that traditionally people will say is the control is the fact that you are getting people to the presentation. Okay, the process of getting people to the presentation in itself, or the idea of someone needing to be on the presentation, yes, that would be a constant. But the way people have to get people to the presentation, that's a variable. That's why some people can get people on the presentation and some people cannot get people on the presentation. If everybody had the same way to get somebody on the presentation and the way worked, why wouldn't you want your whole team doing it that way? Why keep leaving it up to your random approach? And yeah, I could spend time trying to coach you and teach you on exactly what to say, but I'm coaching you and teaching you on exactly what to say, double back on the fact that you have people from the wrong pond in the first place. So now you're trying to say the right thing to the wrong people, and it's still not working. You're saying the right thing to the wrong people. Okay, another part of the process may be, oh, just get them on a three-way call. Don't try to close them yourself. Get them on a three-way call. Get them on a three-way call. Okay, well, you get them on a three-way call, but now the person who's doing the three-way call is going to be a variable. The person who's doing the presentation is going to be a variable. Tonight is going to be me. Tomorrow is going to be you. Tonight is going to be such and such. Tomorrow is going to be Joe Blow. It's going to be a variable of people doing a presentation. It's going to be a variable of technique when introducing a presentation. It's going to be a plethora of different stories when telling the it's not the same presentation. There's no constant. The presentation in itself is a variable. So how are people going to come through a sales process where all these different things are changing based on each individual person, each individual rep, and each individual prospect that all the different reps have from all over the world, where the presentation is changing, the approach is changing, and everything along the way is changing? How are you going to have results and say, oh, I made $20 million, so if you just write the list and invite them to the presentation, that's how you're going to do it? No, there's too many missing pieces. So in order to duplicate, you dang near have to be your leader. You got to speak like your leader. You got to present like your leader. You got to be your leader. Now, I don't mean be that person, not like you have to turn your life and your lifestyle into that person. But when it comes down to the business, you have to say the same things that your leader says. You have to repeat the same things, but you're new, or you're newer, or you don't have as much success yet. You could have doubled and dabbled in multiple companies over 10 years, but you are just now getting serious about it. And so now you have to spend all of your time trying to memorize a script or memorize a presentation or speak a certain way or tell a certain joke or do a certain sequence, do things in a certain order. Like, you have to go through all of this, what? Just to make a couple dollars from the comfort of your own home? So you do believe in duplication, but the process doesn't duplicate. And people dang sure don't duplicate. You know what duplicates? Systems. Systems are the only thing that duplicate. I know the system of writing a list, doing a meeting, or writing a list, calling the people, getting them on the phone, getting them on the Zoom, and getting them on the three-way. That's an old process. That's a 1975 Ford process. The assembly line is advanced now. I don't have to do that. I could actually go and I can put a page together and I can give the same page to my team members. I can go and I can advertise in a pool of interested people who are looking to start a home-based business, and I can give my team access to the same pool of people who are interested in starting a home-based business. So now I have access to the same pool of people. I'm giving all of those people access to the same page that they're going to see to opt in, and they're going to give them access to the same presentation, the one that sells, the one that converts. I'm going to give those same people access to the same presentation over and over and over. I'm not going to change the presentation based on who's doing it today on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. I'm going to do the same presentation because it's recorded. That way, if it worked for the first 10 out of 100, then everybody else is going to use this presentation because it is the one that works and converts. You don't fix what ain't broke. Why would I want each of my team members going out trying to present and they're new? Am I saying that they should not learn the presentation? No, I think that they should learn the presentation. But day 1 through day 7, I don't need you learning the presentation. Day 1 through day 7, I don't need you calling up all them people on your phone who don't give a damn about what you're doing so that you can start to second guess yourself, so that you can start to feel discouraged. No, I want to get small wins for you as quickly as possible. I'm going to give you a whole system and say, here you go. Here's where you go get interested people. And you spend $75, you spend $100, and we're going to drive 200 people to this website. Then we're going to look at the numbers in 24 hours and we're going to see how many people were actually interested. We're going to see how many people asked for more information. We're going to see how many people booked an application call. We're going to see these things. And now as your coach, I don't have to coach you on exactly what you say or how you say it, because the system that I gave you was the duplicated system that I use. I already know what was said because I gave it to you and it worked for me. So it's going to work for you because we're all pulling from the same pool of people. The only thing that I have to work with you on as my new team member is when you get on the application call with the person on the phone, what you're saying. But I had give my team the whole script. So we're all saying the same thing. So every week we do a training on what you're saying. And we do role playing because that's the most important part. Everything else is duplicate. I don't need a list of your people. I don't need to call a list of your people. I don't need you to tell them, call me. I don't need you to invite them to a presentation. I don't need you to get them on the phone with me. I don't need any of that. What I need for you to do is to get this 2023 system, go get a pool of people and drive 200 people to that page. That we can automate. That you can have your time back. That you can be at baseball practice while that's happening. Do you know that you could have 80 people opt into your website, never speak to any one of them until they complete an application call? And 20 of the people that complete the application call, those are the 20 people you're going to talk to? Doesn't it make sense to talk to the 20 people who not only said, oh, this looks interesting, but went through the process of actually completing out an application and said, call me? Wouldn't you rather talk to those 20 people? While you were at work, those 20 people came through. And when you get home, you're not stressed out about who you can get because you already got appointments set for tomorrow. Now you're going to get your calendar and stuff ready and rock and roll. And now you're going to be ready to call whoever you're going to call at the appropriate scheduled time for your appointments. That's what we call a system. How is that not duplicatable? No, that's way more duplicatable. So I get it. There used to be a period of time when people say, oh, but people can't build those pages and everybody doesn't have this software. And that's okay. That's 2000. That's 2010 technology. Yeah, back then Nobody could do it. Nobody could duplicate it because you were the skilled person, right? I was a skilled person, and nobody could do what I was doing because what I was doing was a skill set, leveraging a skill set. But it's 2023. Now, what I can do is I can create my whole little thing. I can create a snapshot of what I did. I can give it to my team. They don't have to build nothing. And it's like this, they push a button and they change some stuff up. They change my name out to their name. They change my company name out to their company name. They change my name out for their name in an email. They change the color scheme that they want for the color scheme that I already had. They change the picture from me to them. That's all they're doing. That's very duplicatable. In fact, it's so duplicatable, it's scary. So if we're using the same process and we're using the same system, then we should be able to get similar results. That's the way it works. I don't know about y'all, but I heard that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results, that's called insanity. So we're porting over these 1970 strategies into 2023, and you can see that overall, as an industry, people aren't jumping to the top of comp plans the way they used to. People aren't making the type of money as quickly as they used to make it like they used to. Why? Because we're now the quote unquote women that have been hit on by men in the US. Okay, this is the metaphor, okay, that have been hit on by men, and we know the game now. You can't tell me, oh, I got the best smoking thing. You got to get on this Zoom. I got my multi-millionaire mentor on the line. He want to talk to you. She want to talk to you. Your 45-year-old friend is like, I don't get time to talk to me about what? Your 45-year-old friend is like, talk to me about what? Girl, I don't want to start no business. Don't put me on the phone with that man. Don't put me on the phone with that lady. I don't want to talk to them. Well, how much it costs, right? This is what your market is saying in the US. We done been there, did that since 1970, 1960, 1950. Y'all been putting on Mary Kay a long time. People been trying to get you to be customers a long time. You know when someone is trying to get you to come take a look at something, don't you? So you resist. Well, so do your prospects. So it's so much better to find people that are already looking than for you to go searching. Now, I'm not saying that in certain instances you will not network and meet a certain individual or two that's worthy of all the time and effort that you spend. I'm not saying don't network at all. What I'm saying is, as a strategy, as a go-to strategy, my strategy is not to do that. My strategy is to run traffic to my pages, my funnel, my system, and automate the emails, automate the text messages, automate the phone calls, automate the follow-up system, automate the scheduling on my calendar, automate all of it. My goal is to automate all of that. Not be trying to meet somebody, put them in my phone, call them up. Hey, I want you to get on this Zoom. They don't answer. I leave a text message, leave a voicemail. They don't answer. I got to call back tomorrow, call back tomorrow, call back tomorrow. This one ass person, I got to keep calling back because I got to follow up. Follow up is key. The fortune's in the follow up. Yeah, not a manual follow up though. You can automate that follow up. You can still communicate with that person, but my system is going to reach out to them every 7 days via the email, or reach out to them every 30 days via the email and the text. I'm not going to be worried about how I met 1,000 people. I'm supposed to remember who I need to call in January versus who I need to call in February for 30 days. Who it's been 60 days for this person, but it's been 90 days for this person. Like, really? This is why people are overwhelmed. This is why you're stuck. This is why your team not moving. Because you want people to operate in a slow, archaic process when everybody is looking at people make money all over the internet trying to figure out, why is this the industry that won't get with it? Why is this the industry that's literally still talking about call all the people on your friends and family list? Why are we still the industry doing that as a strategy? Not, hey, in your free time, call the people because you got your system. Your system is your strategy. We're going to drive traffic to your system. But in your free time, if you want to call some people on your list, let's go ahead and do that because you never know who's in your warm market that may be ideal. That makes sense to me. But when I start a new person, I don't want that to be the first thing I tell the people. I'm sorry, because that is what turns people off. So it took me all this time to get the person. And then when I get the person, you want me to tell the person to do that. Now the person doesn't want to build the business no more. Now the person just want to be a customer because they don't want to do that. They don't want to sacrifice their precious time, and they do not want to sacrifice any of the vital relationships that they have with people when they aren't secure and confident yet. This is why people say, well, let me become a product of the product first. They don't know how to sell something based on a vision just yet because they have to be taught that. So day one, why do you even need them to do all that? Why do you want to do all that? You know how they have those things now where they be like, well, not, they're doing them on like reels and stuff like that now, but just in real life, you know how maybe your parents told you, oh, you being lazy. You know, I used to have to walk 40 miles to go to school. I had to cross over a river and crawl under a barbed wire, and I had to jump over a snake pit and have to have a and hitchhike on a with a stick with a bandana wrapped around the stick to get to school. 16 hours it took me to get to school every single day. And you're complaining because you don't want to catch the school bus. You know what I'm saying? Like the grandmother telling you the story about the hard way that she had to do something. For her, that was the only way to do it. For you, you stand in a position where you can look at what she had to do and say, yeah, I can see how she had to do that then. But you can also have a perspective of what's being done now and say, yeah, but I could just really catch an Uber. For you to deliberately act like the only way to get to success is the long, hard way under the barbed wire, over the snake pit, hitchhiking with the stick, like, you know what I'm saying? Doing a triathlon, swimming for 20 miles. Like for you to act like that's the way that we need to do it just because that's the way you did it. When you're looking at 90% of your organization, 90% of your team, they're not winning. Why are we trying to force a square peg in a round hole? Why don't we adjust? And that's what I want you to know, that the only reason why you're stuck is because it's time to adjust. It's time for you to pivot. And I want you to know that you can do it, that you can win, that you can have success. You've just got to understand that the model is different. We can still employ the same principles of what we're doing. We can still prospect. We can still pique someone's interest. We can still point someone to a presentation. We can still plug someone in. We can still promote. We can still pass. We can still do all the things fundamentally that this industry requires. But how we do it, it can definitely be implemented in a much more 2023 assembly line, Maserati development assembly line car style type of day. You don't got to do this, Fred Flintstone. Because everybody that's made all that money in your company is like Fred Flintstone. Now, if you're in a newer age company, you see a lot of the success is happening where? Overseas. Why is it happening overseas? Well, because those are the people that generally don't get hit up first with the new opportunities. The US is the girl that has been getting hit on for 20 years. She's hip to y'all game. The people overseas, it's opportunity doesn't come as frequently. So when the opportunity comes, yes, they're going to do it. And guess what? It doesn't cost as much to live other countries as well, especially in the third world countries. Might cost $500 a month to live there. If you're making $500 a month and you live in a third world country, and then you turn around and make $1,000 a month, all your friends gonna join because it took you a month to make double their monthly income at work. If you in the United States and you make $500 and then you turn around and you make $1,000, your friends ain't batting an eye. Your friends ain't coming to no meeting because you made $1,000. Your friends not getting off work early going to get a babysitter because you made $1,000. Your friends not getting on the phone with your upline, your sideline, your VP, your company, your owner, your this because you made $1,000. They almost not getting on there if you making $10,000. They almost not getting on there if you making $30,000. In the United States, you then it gotta be you plus 10, 12 other people making 10, 20, $30,000 before people in the US even give it a second look. Why? Because we've been down this road. So you don't get as excited so quickly. So if once you get someone going, you got to bring something new to the table. You can't keep approaching them with the same old humdrum tag story. You're not going to be able to do it. So this video was really just about painting the picture for you and understanding that everything that is worth changing is changed. Now, our schools, the public schools really haven't changed. The majority of the public schools after that same period of time, right? Depression time, they facing the teacher. Okay, just sitting there facing the teacher, just being lectured to. And you go to schools today, that's exactly what's happening. So the way your children are being educated has stayed the same. Would you say that the education has gotten better or gotten worse? See, I'm inclined to say that the education has gotten more and more dumbed down. They're not getting smarter with that approach. So I chose to send my son to a different type of school where they have a different approach to education and learning. Because that approach isn't producing what I feel is necessary for my child to be able to compete moving forward. So I chose to insert him into a different approach. Now, everybody that is okay with their children going to the other way, that's fine. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that to act like that's the only way and that the new approach is somehow less effective when you can look at the old approach and tell it's not effective hardly at all. To just want to try to convince other people to keep their kids there just because you don't want to move them out of that, or you can't move them out of that, or a financial circumstance won't allow you to move them out of that. It's not because you're in love with it. It's because there's some stumbling block that won't allow you to shift. Because if you could, you would, because you know it's not working too. So the education, that really, the way that has been done, that hasn't changed. But almost everything else has changed. The way that you buy a house has changed. The requirements to be funded has changed. So today was just to set the stage and to paint the framework and let you know that systems are duplicatable. Those are the only things that are duplicatable. You're not going to be able to duplicate your leader. You can try to duplicate what your leader does, but if what your leader does is a manual process, then now you've got to be manually your leader. If your leader is making calls all day long, then now you got to make calls all day long. And if you recruit people who don't have time to make calls all day long, your duplication efforts are now sliced in half, sliced in a third. You lose any duplication at that point because people can't always do what the leader is doing when the leader is doing manual processes. But if the leader is doing systematic processes that can then be given to each and every individual in the organization, no matter where they fall, well, then now you can train on one or two things. All I have to train on is getting people to the website and making the phone calls, because my team don't have to worry about presenting. My team don't have to worry about making a list. I can tell them where to go get leads, go get traffic every day of the week. They can go and get 80 to 100 leads every single day of the week if they wanted to. There's no shortage of leads out here. But there is when you in your phone book and you only got 300 people and you like, okay, I ran out of people, now what? And your leadership say, well, go talk to more people. Well, where am I going to talk to them at? Where am I meeting them at? Oh, go to the dog park. I don't even have a dog. Well, go pretend, go get a dog. Go compliment somebody on their nice shoes. I don't got time to be doing that. I do not have time in my life and in my day to go out here and be complimenting somebody on what they got going on because I'm trying to recruit them into my business. I just don't. I don't know if y'all with me or not. Okay. But if somebody hear what I'm saying, then y'all hear what I'm saying. All right. So this week, in addition to this video, I'm going to do a couple more videos. I'm going to do one on Tuesday. And I'm also going to do, which is tomorrow, on Wednesday, which is 2 days from now. I'm also going to do one on Thursday. So there's going to be 3 videos this week. And in those lives, I'm going to just really be focused on the next one. I'm going to be bringing people to the table that have been getting results with this. Okay. I'm going to share some testimonials with you. I'm going to share some proof with you that it works. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to have some interaction with those people on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I'm going to do a little mini training. I'm going to kind of go inside of this system that I'm talking about. I'm going to show you a little bit more about it. Okay. And why it is where you need to be focused on, or something like it, something similar to it. You need to learn about how to do it. Even if you don't like mine or do it my way, you need to learn how to do it so that you can save yourself and save your team. Because when people start quitting, once you do recruit people and now your existing team starts quitting because they can't get results, the solution is not just go get more people, because going and getting more people and bringing them to a faulty process is going to increase the leakage in your bucket. It's not going to stop up holes. It's going to make the holes wider, and the water's going to spill out more profusely. It's the opposite effect, actually. So I'm going to just show you how, you want to start marketing. If you're not already doing it, you got to start marketing in 2023 and beyond, so that number one, you can have way more duplication in your organization. Number two, it's much more fun. Your team members are going to be happier. They're not going to be, resistant to take a call from you or running from you and not paying their auto ship and this, because they really don't want to be a part. They really don't want to do it. It's going to be way more fun. It's going to be way more profitable. It's undeniably a time saver. I don't have to be on the phone calling 100 people. I'm only going to call the 20 that fill out my application. Don't you see how that right there, it's not only a saver of time, but it is a more efficient use of the time. I'm only speaking to the people that requested to speak to me, which means that the conversation is a much more even type of conversation. There's no brick wall, me trying to jump over and convince the person of something. Now the person is coming to me as a way to solve a problem versus me coming to them as a way to try to get them to identify if they got a problem. And if I don't have the skill set to talk them through that process, they dead in the water. So here's the deal. I can show you how to succeed literally by having an unlimited number or access to an unlimited number of people every single day. That's really what you need. You need an unlimited number of people that you can throw your fishing line in and fish from every day. It's not your cell phone. For the average person, it's not your cell phone. If it was your cell phone, then you'd already be at the top of your comp plan. It's not your cell phone. And you don't have to DM people to prospect them. You can if you want. I DM people sometimes because I have just, I might have an hour or two and I'm like, oh, let me just do something. I might just kind of start, networking and getting to know people. But that's not my strategy. That's not my number one strategy. That's like a number 3 type strategy, just to kind of keep, my skill set high and keep myself sharp in terms of, communication and asking questions and getting to uncover what people's problems are so I can offer a solution potentially if they have a problem. But you don't have to DM people like that. That's time consuming too. And then you can scientifically and predictably build your business. Because if I know that for every 100 leads, for every 100 visitors to my site, 45 of them opt in. And for every 45 that opt in, 10 of them leave an application. And for every 10 that leave an application, 5 I talk to. And out of every 5 I talk to, 2 I'm able to close. If I know that, then I now know statistically and predictably that if I want to sign up 2 people, I need to have 100 people to my website. So if I need to sign up 4 people, I need to have 200 people to my website. If I need to sign up 6 people, I need to have 300 people to my website. Do you see this as business? You got to know the numbers. See, in network marketing, it's just too much frivolous activity happening. It's just too much randomness. You just out, you talking to people, you presenting, you showing the plan, you this, you that, you this, you that. But there's no structure, and it's because you're on this quest to just hope you find the one. You're looking for the one person to come in and blow your business up. And what I'm saying is, you will attract the one when you can teach enough people how to go get success. You will then attract the person that says, I like how you're doing business. I want to do that too. And now that person will come. I'm not saying that you're never going to attract the person without doing that. I'm just saying it's more likely that if you become who you need to be, you will attract the people that you want to have in your organization to help you grow. But you can't be not knowing what to do and then you attract somebody else that know what to do and you just eat off them. It's not gonna happen because you probably got two legs or something. You need another person on the other side too, don't you? Depending on how you position in your company. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to mark your calendar for Wednesday. Where in video 2, we'll show you some proof and some feedback, some testimonials from a few of my teammates who have been kind of going through this process and gotten some front end results. Which, by the way, in your front end, that's where your marketing is stuck. So you're not even getting anybody to the presentation because you don't have anybody coming in the door. So you're stuck just getting people. So I'm going to share with you some of my team members that have been getting front end results. Like they have people to talk to. They know how to get people to talk to anytime they want. They can push a button. They can get people to talk to. Without steady, interested leads to qualify every single day or at least every single week, there's not going to be no enrollments. It's not going to be no enrollments. You kidding yourself. I don't care how many times you show the plan to nobody. You will get better, but until you can get somebody to see the presentation, you won't sign nobody up. You need people to see it. Okay? In the meantime, and then on Thursday, like I said, on Thursday, then I'm going to also share a little bit more of a little behind the scenes, a little bit of a mini teaching, a little mini training on how what I'm doing, how it looks and how it works. So you can kind of see it from the inside. In the meantime, guys, I actually share more detail of what my 7-step blueprint is and how it all works inside of my Automate Your Home-Based Business workshop. Okay, I've done the workshop 2 different times. I recorded the workshop. People paid for the workshop before, and now it's in a membership site where the videos are in bite-sized videos. And I break down each of the 5 different modules. I go over the 7 steps. I go over how to get traffic. I go over why it works. I go over all that good stuff. And you can get access to it for just $47. So if you'd like to get access to the workshop ahead of time before we move into the next 2 videos, just head over to www.automateyourhomebasedbusiness.com and you can get instant access. Okay, you can go there right away. All right. If you're looking for something free, you're gonna probably have to keep scrolling on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram all day. Okay, and the reason is because this information is not free. This information is not free. It's only $47, number one. But what you learn in it can actually take your business from generating a negative balance to generating sales and having a positive balance. And what you have to do is ask yourself, is it worth me leveraging $47 to learn a skill or at least be aware of something that puts me in a position where I can enhance my business processes so I can have better results? If you think that you should get that for free, then you can just go on Instagram and just scroll on the wall, okay? Or Facebook, okay? And just scroll and see what you can find for free, or go on YouTube Shorts and just see what you can scroll for free. However, if you want a clear picture and a blueprint of how to make this work without any glitches, without anything left out where you are lost in the sauce, then what you want to do is you want to go and get the workshop right now. Okay. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with me on today for video 1 of my 3 video series this week. I want you to review this if you need to review it because it is here native on my wall, and get the nuggets out of this so that you can be ready for Wednesday. Because Wednesday, you're gonna hear from other people. Okay, so I'm really excited about that. So make sure you head over to www.automateyourhomebasedbusiness or www.automateyourhomebasedbiz Get access to the workshop for $47. And I will see you in the very next video number 2 of this series, which will be on a Wednesday. For those of you guys that are, a part of my subscriber list, I will send an email out to you. You will get notified of it so you won't miss it. And I look forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday. Head over to get the workshop right now. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the inside of the workshop, and everybody else. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Bye, guys.